morning by the startup mentor, the Hive Incubator in Akure here, Solomon Samuel, joins me in the conversation. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Now let's start this way. Is the economic firmament of the Nigerian states really conducive for startups at all?
So at the moment, currently, some of the people in the financial sector will tell you that it is not conducive, actually, because of the interest rates that we have and maybe the exchange rates we are having currently in the country. But I believe this is the best time to invest in businesses. This is the best time to start a business. This is the best time to grow a business, because as it stands now, getting goods from outside the country into Nigeria is really going to be expensive. So now we have the opportunity for entrepreneurs and maybe startups within the country to start producing or offering services that people usually get from outside the country.
So why is this time the best time to start a business, especially when many people will ask you, where do I get the capital from? You're a startup mentor, so I think that's within the purview of your mentorship, if I am correct. So how would you tell me to start a business at a time when economic downturn is everywhere and I can hardly even feed? Then where do I get startup capital from?
So the way it plays out actually is major financial players in the industry, so there's a law in finance where money lose value over time. So if I'm holding a large chunk of cash, I have the intention of always trying to invest or give it to someone so that the person can multiply it. So as it stands now, because of the interest rate, many banks, many institutions that give out loans or let's say give out capital, they don't find people that are even interested in collecting this capital in the first place. So there's a lot of capital lying around. So what entrepreneurs should do is properly think about a business, structure a business where you know that whatever you're collecting, you are going to be able to pay back over a period of time. So there's a trend of debts. There's a trend of debt servicing currently in the country, because a lot of people are invested in companies and giving them debt, giving them loan at a favorable rate that is not maybe the normal loan or interest rate. So this is the best time actually to even get capital, because there's a lot of people that are not willing to collect capital at the rate it is in the country.
Now, dealing with risk is one thing that's very important in startups. What do you think should be the disposition of startups to weather the storm of risks? For instance, if you say you're going into poultry or fishery or all of those, you also have at the back of your mind the risk, the potential losses. How do we gauge the scale such that the loss won't be more than the profit?
Yes.
Or anticipated profits in any case.
Yeah, so as it stands, they say necessity is the mother
Of invention.
So
Mhm.
we are at a junction or at a place currently in our economy where we have to innovate. If there is a way we have been approaching doing business in the country, we have to change towards how we handle business. So every business has to innovate on how they approach a problem. So, for example, the poultry business, if using feed, maybe feed from suppliers that you buy, maybe the poultry feed, maybe the drugs, you have to find a way of innovating on this so that you can avoid spending or having excess expenses on your hands. So when you innovate on the way you approach businesses, you can now cut down on the risks, because at this moment in time, either you innovate or you die. So as a business, you have to innovate so that
your business won't die.
yes, business will die, so that you can limit the risks. So when you do that, then you also have to focus. There are some things we do as business owners that are not going to be favorable at this moment. You can't invest in things that are not assets aligned.
Mhm.
So if you are mostly investing in liabilities, there are some things that we do as businesses that we have to drop them at this moment, because
Such as?
so for example, as a business owner, there are some things you should not do, like unnecessary expenditure on liabilities. If you're a business owner, maybe you are running.
What constitutes liability for a business person?
So there's this misconception that if we buy some things, they are assets.
Mhm.
So for example, as a poultry owner, you have a poultry and the first thing you are thinking about is buying a bus. You are just starting the poultry. You don't have a sufficient cash flow to sustain that bus, the fueling, getting a driver, and maintaining the bus. So you should not focus on getting a bus. You should focus on, okay, can I get access to the market first? Who are they do I need to reach out to? Who do I need to talk to get access to the market? So we should rechannel our priorities. We can't just focus on spending on liabilities. So to a lot of people, getting a car is an asset. But in the real sense, it's a liability. Anything that involves you continually spending money to maintain it or to keep it alive, anything that's like a living thing that you have to take care of, is a liability. So we have to focus and channel more our attention on assets in our business.
Why do you think some Nigerians, especially young Nigerians, prefer putting their money in Ponzi schemes at the expense of investing in real-time businesses and startups, despite the the many risks that are there and even the eventualities that we're now seeing? The days of MMM and now the issue of CBEX. In fact, SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission, is warning that there are still many others now cropping up. What is the attractive thing about Ponzi that's making people go in there and not the normal investment?
So the way it plays out, is people they want to invest in a business, or they want to invest in something that can outrun the inflation in the country. So if, for example, you tell me that if you invest in this business, you'll be getting 30%. There's a high tendency people will not want to invest in. But if you tell me that if you invest in this business, you'll be getting 150%, people will rush to invest in you, because there's a psychological side to it. People want to invest in a business that will outpace inflation. So that's why this trend is taking place most of the times. But it's advisable to the public, it's advisable to anybody that is in business to always avoid investing in any business venture that is going to be having such high rate of or ROI returns, because such business
return on investment.
Yes, such business come with high risks. Any business that have high returns, there's a possibility that it has a high risk. Yeah.
Now let's look at. They say information is power.
Yes.
Most times people don't get all of this information to be able to really process what to do and what not to do in investment. So how then do we get adequate information, reliable information, devoid of scams and devoid of deceptions? What organizations exist to provide such information to startups?
So there are a few organizations. That's why the Hive Incubator currently is pioneering a way of educating entrepreneurs, because what we do is when we bring entrepreneurs into the Hive Incubator program, we don't just give them the funding, because we know that just giving people access to funding is not the way out of or the way to solve business problems. So what we do basically is we educate them on business. We guide them on business. So programs like the Hive Incubators or institutions like the Hive Incubator have been popping around the country, and I believe we are maybe one of the first movers currently in Akure. So what we do is we give people funding, but also we guide them in business. So
the Hive Incubators.
Yes.
The Hive Incubators.
Yes.
And you see, some people would say that if you consider previous experience, you will be careful launching into any other experience. Just recently, CBEX crashed, and then people were running out to scatter. And you hear very funny names everywhere. Now, the Hive Incubators, what's the difference between the Hive and all of those others?
So what we do is we give you practical ways of making money, because we, the founder of the Hive Incubator, Mr. Folajemi, he has run so many businesses. Currently, he has run an oil and gas business. He's into agriculture. He's into real estate. He's even into communication. So he has this broad experience in so many businesses. So we're giving practical knowledge. We are not, for example, platforms like CBEX will just tell you, deposit your money, come on so date. And
so investors are not depositing money with the Hive Incubators?
No. So you are not depositing.
You know, I have to ask you these questions because as a broadcaster, I am more interested in my image and the image of my organization, especially looking at what exactly will be the experience of the people with your organization, so that, you know, we're not the conduit for information that could put people in investment troubles.
Yes.
So what differentiates the Hive from Ponzi schemes and Ponzi organizations?
So the major difference is Ponzi organization, Ponzi scheme, we ask you to bring your money to get more money. So what we do is we don't ask you to bring your money to get more money. We look at you as an entrepreneur, we look at your business, we bring you in, we educate you, then we give you capital for 10% of your business. So it's fully funded privately by our founder and his partner. So it's not, the Ponzi scheme will tell you you have to bring your money. A Ponzi scheme will not tell you that, oh, I see your potentials, I see your business model, and I want to invest in you so that you can get growth or you can scale your business. So that is the difference between the Hive Incubator and the Ponzi scheme. We don't ask anybody to bring in their money to join our program.
What do I stand to gain if I subscribe to the Hive Incubator?
So firstly, we have to be selected.
Oh,
yes,
oh,
yes.
okay.
Yes,
It goes through a selection process.
Yes. So
it's not a all-commerce affair.
No. So
Why is it that competitive?
Yes, so we have to take a look at the business. So there's a difference between someone just saying, okay, I have intention of doing so business, and looking at the entrepreneur. Are you sure you know this business you're talking about? And so there's a link out there. We put this link out there. Then entrepreneurs apply. Then we, the team, will go through the link. We look at the businesses, look at their pitch deck, look at their business models, then we select them. So maybe you, if you apply to the program, you still have to pass through the selection process.
So it means if my business proposal or business outlay is not up to the set standard, I will not be selected. That's what you're trying to say.
So no, it's not black and white as you said it, because there are businesses in the incubation program that they don't have a business at hand. They just have the idea of a business.
Yeah, okay.
So basically, there is not really a standard. It's more of like, do you understand what you are planning to do? So there's a situation where someone has a business idea. They have a thought process on how to get things done or how to provide a solution. But there's someone else that have a business that is running already, but the model is not going to be favorable, or the model is not going to scale. So we're looking at to invest in people that are doing something innovative. As I said, if you don't innovate, you die. So we're looking for people that are doing something innovative that can scale and that can grow. So there is not really a standard like, okay, you have to make a so amount of money before you can join the program. It's basically majorly on just expert looking at your business model and looking at what is the projection of your business to join the program.
Startup mentor, you say you are at the Hive Incubator. I'd like to know what exactly the type of mentorship you will be giving to startups, especially at a time like this when businesses are struggling to thrive.
Yes. So I always tell my entrepreneurs that there's a trend or there's a commonality that people tend to start business without having finance background. So what we do basically, what I do basically is I give people strong financial background or finance background, because 1 + 1 is not always 2 in business. So for example, if you're a business owner and you are running courses, in order to sell a product, there's a cost of sales. So you have to understand what is the cost of running this, providing this service. What is the cost of providing solution to users? Some business owners don't even know the totality of the cost it entails in their business. So at the end of the day, they just do 1 + 1 and they'll be like, what's happening? I'm running short. So what I do, I give them grounded financial education, I give them grounded financial background, practical.
So business budgeting is really different from the
Yes.
Layman budgeting.
Yes.
Because you did say 1 + 1 is not always 1 in business.
Yes.
The only place I've heard that is 1 + 1 is not 1 in marriage. So they will say,
Yes.
so now you saying 1 + 1 is not always 1 in business. I think you should elucidate.
So basically, 1 + 1 is 1 because it's math. But 1 + 1 can be perceived as 3 to another person. 1 + 1 can be perceived as 4 to another business owner. So what we try to do is we let you know what 1 + 1 = 2 is, so that any misconception you're having.
Is that a case of profit margin differences?
So it entails a lot of things. So for example, let's say I'm into, let's say I'm a poultry owner and I have a business. So as a poultry owner, the mistake most poultry owners make is they calculate the cost of feed, they calculate the cost of, let's say, the chicks, the day-old chicks, and they exempt the cost of labor. Most times they don't put that into that calculation. They exempt the cost of gas, they exempt the cost of logistics, they exempt the cost of the debt. So all these things are background that you have to have strong background, like you have to understand. If I'm going into this business, what is the total cost? Then you can now put those costs and deduct it from your revenue. So when you understand the cost properly, you understand the market, you make the market research, you can understand maybe the pricing you can adopt, the pricing strategy you can adopt. So basically I give them grounded knowledge on finance, because if you understand your books, you understand your finance properly, then you tweak your business model appropriately, you are good to go.
For how long has the Hive Incubator been in operation to be so trusted with business or startup mentorship?
So basically, we are just 1 year plus currently in the ecosystem, but we are banking on the trust of our founder that has run a business successfully. As I said earlier on, that has run business in various sectors. So the trust we are banking on is on our founder and on the team that's running the program. So basically, it's not just the Hive has been existing, or should I say, a legacy enterprise for long, but the people that are running the Hive, that founded the Hive, have legacies and they have the backing to show for the impact they intend to give to them.
How accessible is your organization to people? What's your social media presence or the internet presence of your organization to be so trusted that yes, one way or the other, people who subscribe to the incubator would also get prominence, so to say?
Okay, so basically we're on LinkedIn, we're on Instagram, also we have the WhatsApp community. So basically if you search the Hive Incubator on LinkedIn, you'll get to see us there. So from there you can maybe get access to other of our social media handles. We're on Instagram, we're on Twitter. Currently we're gaining grounds. We're getting that voice in the ecosystem, and we'll always be there. So we are not like other organizations that operate remotely. We have a physical office. We have a physical office where we have
In Akure here?
Yes, we have a physical office where you can come to the office, or you can even send us a mail or reach us via our official phone numbers. So basically, if you just want to see what we are doing, is just to check our social media pages, search on LinkedIn, the Hive Incubator, then you can start from there.
What is my benefit subscribing to the Hive Incubator?
So basically, the Hive Incubator, let's say subscribing to the Hive Incubator and you are not in the program, but what you can get is you notice the trend. You'll see what is happening, you'll see the businesses that are thriving. So for example, you get some little education from time to time, even though if you're not part of the program. We also give out education to the public on investments, on how to handle their business, on business model, on how to have proper stakeholder relationship. So if you subscribe to the Hive, you'll be getting all this for free.
What does it, for free? It doesn't cost anyone anything?
Yes, what we post on our social media.
It doesn't cost anyone anything subscribing to
So
the Hive Incubator?
yes, it doesn't.
Whether physically or online?
Yes, it's free.
So what's your gain?
So basically,
Because that looks somehow
yes,
to
yes.
a layman.
Yes,
You're offering services and then you say it's for free to subscribers. So what's your gain? What's the essence of your existence there? Because normally every private organization, it's out there to make profit.
Yes. So there's an angle to it. We are a for-profit organization. The entrepreneurs that are in the incubation, after giving them capital or giving them capital, what we get in exchange is 10% of their business. We believe in them so much that
Let me get that correctly.
Yes.
The Hive Incubator gives out capital to startups.
yes, and education. Then we ask for 10% equity of their business. So when you're coming into the Hive, we believe in your business idea, or we believe in your business model so much that we're investing in you that maybe basically has nothing running for you, and we take 10%. 10% is a small amount. You understand? We take 10% of your business, believing that this business is going to grow so big and so large that the 10% we are taking out of that business will be a large chunk of investment in the future. So we're not just, what we're giving free out there is to people that subscribe to us, but people that, how we get, what we are looking out to get is the 10% equity we are getting from the entrepreneurs who are investing.
So to a large extent, it means it's a kind of business challenge that people will just come up with their business proposals and all of that, and then the ones you feel they're bankable or that you could bank on or invest in, you select them, and then you give them capital to start, and then you're requesting 10% equity in the investment.
Yes.
Is that what you're trying to reiterate?
Yes.
So how does that work?
So basically,
What protection does the real owner of the patent have?
So basically, what we do in the Hive is collecting your 10% is not in perpetuity, because obviously no one wants that. So we get 10% of the business, we invest in that business. Then if you grow so much and so large, at the end of the day, you can like buy out the Hive Incubator, because we're not there to just stay for forever in your business. We are there to push you, to give you that catalyst so that your business can grow and can thrive. Then you can just buy us out, then we'll move on. So basically that's it.
So at any point in time, once the investor sees that it's not standing on 2 feet, he could opt out.
Yes, yes.
And
Yes.
so, what was the process of opting out? How difficult is that?
It's, it's not difficult. It's not difficult. So unlike the way it happens in the contemporary economy, where people have to trade the stock or the equity on the stock market, so most of the businesses are not going to be hosted on the stock market. So what happens mostly is these business owners, if you have grown, you are strong enough, and you feel like, okay, this equity that's with the hive, maybe I can sell it to a higher, someone that will pay more for it. Or let's say I want to get back a share of my business. It's very easy. It's just you come to the table, you tell us, okay, the hive, I want to opt out of this agreement, and we just come to the table and just negotiate. Okay, this is what we think this equity is worth now, and this is what we think you can pay. Then we have this kind of negotiation. Then you will just pay us, and we go.
Is the Hive Incubator recognized by government? Is it a registered company with government?
So at the
so
moment,
so much that it will give a peace of mind to those who are subscribing to it, that it's not an organization that could just go into the thin air and then disappear at any point in
so
time.
the niche where we are at is in VC and private equity. So VC and private equity necessarily don't have the restriction with SEC. So VCs invest in startups, and startups at the end of the day, when they scale, they grow, they can now have this moment where you get back your investment. So we are not like a contemporary business or all these investment vehicles, like let's say microfinance or investment banks that need to be registered with SEC. So we are under the niche of venture capital investing. So this niche does not have a licensing at the moment. Worldwide, there's no licensing for VC investment. So because it's very high risk. You're banking on individuals that don't have the assets, don't have a portfolio. So if you decide that, okay, you want to be waiting, or let's say getting a license or giving license to VCs, it will limit the way they invest, because they are literally investing in the futures of entrepreneurs.
Thank you so much, Solomon Samuel, startup mentor at the Hive Incubator. Thank you for pushing out all of this information. Of course, they are purely the content and views of the Hive Incubator. They are entirely the views of the Hive Incubator, and they have pushed that out, leaving the people to make their own decision based on their trust and belief. All that have been pushed out are entirely the views of the Hive Incubator. Thank you so much for coming on AM Today.
Thank you.
All right, we'll take a break. When we return, AM Today continues. Please stay with us, everyone.